Guys, so we are going to be starting the franchise project. It's going to be a little bit different than our last project, our side hustle project. But first things first, you need to find a franchise. Your franchise location is going to be located in Coppell. So you're going to be either, if it's a storefront, it's going to be here, or if it's going to be a mobile one, it's going to be based out of Coppell, kind of servicing Coppell and maybe slight surrounding areas. So, if you're based here, then you're going to be kind of working just kind of in this general area. I mean, you may occasionally get a call over here, but you're primarily looking at this is going to be your business area. So this is, in other words, the reason why I'm circling this is because this is your demographic. This is who you're going after to try to service. And you really can choose any franchise you want. Just know that when you pick a franchise, if it's incredibly expensive or if it's got potential problems or if it's a franchise that fails quite often, those are all things you've got to make sure you're remembering as you pick the franchise. But you know this community, you know Coppell. I mean, I know Trophy Club South Lake Roanoke area, and I know what businesses are there, what businesses are not there. Obviously you cannot pick a franchise that already exists here. So, if you're like, oh, I'm going to do McDonald's, well, there's already a McDonald's here. I'm going to do Taco Bell. Well, there's already a Taco Bell here. So you got to think about franchises that don't currently exist in Coppell and how you would add to the city that way. You've also got to be considering who your competition is. So, if you're going to bring in a franchise of a burger joint or something like that, or, any other kind of franchise, then you have to think about who is currently in that space. So if you're bringing in a burger franchise that doesn't exist here currently, your competitors are going to be McDonald's and Burger King and everybody else that's already currently here. So you kind of want to think about what franchise can I get that is going to be low cost, reasonably easy to start up, and is not going to be isn't already duplicated here currently in Coppell. Is your business going to be a storefront? Are you going to have a storefront for your business? Or is your business going to be a mobile one, like this Mosquito Joe franchise? So are you one where you want to go around and do pool service? Or do you want to own a swimming pool accessory store where they come to you? So those are kind of the decisions that you need to make and figure out. Now, it's possible that your storefront also is mobile. So maybe you are opening up a Dickey's Barbecue and you have the local storefront for that, but you also have a catering service that acts as well with it. So those are all kind of things you're going to have to decide. But just realize the more expensive, the more complicated, the more problems potentially, the easier your opponent is. And by the way, we're going to be adding in a different speaker. There won't be a closer speaker this time. It'll be an opener, a mudslinger, and a persuader. And the mudslinger's sole job is to show how bad your franchise is. So if you give them a franchise that's got lots of possibilities to poke holes in it, your franchise is going to look like Swiss cheese by the end of this. So you want to find one that is, you can really defend well. Do you want one that's going to be a little bit more expensive? It's going to be expensive franchise to do, or do you want to find one that's really low cost? There are just a whole lot of franchises out there that you can buy that are not going to be super expensive, but then again, you're not going to get what you pay for too. So if you get some knockoff burger joint, you're going to have a hard time competing with McDonald's or with any of the other ones, with Sonic or whoever else. So those are all things to think about. So when it comes to the project itself, the opener this time is going to be, you're going to explain what the franchise is, and you're going to change this here in red. You're going to give us a video from the company, so you'll need to go on and find the companies have all sorts of videos about their franchises. That's one of the ways they sell it. And so you want to find a video from the franchise that you can show us. You're going to talk about the territory. So when you buy your franchise, do you get a designated territory like Joe Adams, which you may have already heard it, or maybe you haven't heard it, but his territory is West Houston, and nobody else can go in and sell budget blinds other than him in his territory. The initial franchising fee. So, when you're looking at, it's not all the startup costs. What I'm looking at here is like, what does it cost to the initial franchise fee? I think Dickey's Barbecue was like $25,000 or something like that. That's just the initial fee to get started with them as well. This does not include the royalties or the marketing or any of that stuff too. And you're going to be able to show us your company website and be able to give us information from that directly. And then the total startup cost. So if you're going to be a storefront, what does that entail? How expensive is it to open up a storefront? Like I was showing you earlier, this math tutoring company, Kumon. How expensive does it cost to do this? And by the way, like, don't let that scare you away. Don't think, oh man, I got to open up a franchise, I got to open up a storefront, and the other team's going to attack me with how much it costs. There's a reason why people open up storefronts. They work. They're incredibly. They do incredibly well. People want to have a place to go to get tutoring. They don't want to do tutoring, wherever. They want to do it in a nice, reputable office place here, and you get the brand name of this company with it as well. So don't think that because it's expensive you're going to lose. That's not necessarily true. In fact, sometimes the investment that goes with it, is going to yield higher returns in the end. But then again, if you don't know your franchise very well and you don't know what the returns are and all that kind of stuff, yes, your opponent was going to have a field day with you. So make sure that all three people on the team know about this franchise, that they know the ins and outs of this franchise. What royalties do you have to pay back to the franchise? Now, this may encompass regular franchise fees, like we talked about with Bill Cavell, where he paid 5%, I believe, of his sales, and then he paid 4% for marketing as well. So he paid 9% per month. What franchise fees do you pay for this? And you got to explain to us why these royalties are fair and all of that as well. How does the franchise help with marketing efforts? And I want you to show us an ad or show us some way in which they have reached out. It could be a video, it could be a print ad, it could be social media, it could be any way that they have. And probably the more the better. Like the better that give us maybe give us a few if you want. But however the franchisor is going to help with the marketing effort to help get you customers is what you want to say there. And finally, what type of financing? Maybe they don't offer any financing, and that's very possible. Many franchises don't offer financing, but if your franchise does offer financing, that makes it easier for you because then you have less out of pocket. You can finance some of those costs and be able to have more liquidity to be able to do payroll and that kind of stuff. But then again, you know how I feel about debt. Debt's not great, so. Should you finance? Should you not? Those are all arguments that by the end of this year, we have heard this stuff so many times that you kind of have an understanding about that. By the way, there will be 3 rounds of cross-examination this next time. Oh my goodness, Mr. Simpson. So the Mudslinger their sole job is to attack the other team's franchise. And you're going to be talking about our opponent's franchise and write their franchise name in there. Will not work. You're just setting it up right there. And you're going to give us 3 arguments about why their franchise will not work. Maybe hamburger places are overdone and they're just not, they aren't profitable anymore. Or maybe McDonald's is closing down a lot of stores. And if they are, then that means that the hamburger industry, maybe people are trying to be healthier or whatever 3 arguments you want to have here. I don't even want to give you arguments really, because I want you to think of, you may look at the opponent's, the marketing, the royalties, any of these things that would be potential triggers to say that it's not going to work is what you want to think about within their franchise model. So if I'm this person, I'm going to my opponent's franchise page. So let's say, for instance, we were going to do Dickey's Barbecue. And I would go to their franchise information, which you heard the interview with Scooter McKinnish. And they have the franchise here. Let's see here. Where is it? Next steps. Oh, marketing costs. Any of these things are going to be reasons why you may want to go after them. You've got to do your research on your opponent's website, and you've got to, maybe you find that, Dickey's Barbecues, you go on YouTube and you find, Dickey's Barbecue is Dickey's Barbecue franchise is bad, and probably some of these are probably pretty positive because it looks like Dickey's put some stuff on here. But if you could research, you can find some potential problems within that franchise, and that's what you're trying to do. Landlord eviction of restaurant franchise Dickey's Barbecue. Wow, interesting. Okay, so you're going to come up with 3 reasons why you believe your opponent's franchise is not good, and then you're going to be open for cross-examination. The final person will be our normal persuader. So this person is going to be persuading us. They're going to be bringing up their own franchise, and they're going to be bringing up the opponent's franchise. And they're going to be saying why your franchise is going to be better than your opponent's franchise. And you're going to come up with 3 arguments, all supported by video. All video. Also, the mudslinger, all evidence has to be video evidence. It just helps our audience. These speeches can sometimes get a little bit boring. No offense to you guys, but the students that are listening, a video really helps keep people's attention. It kind of takes pressure off you as a speaker and just kind of makes things more interesting. The scoring rubric is going to be similar to what we've had in the past as well. And I think that's about it. Good luck, guys.